Okay, so I'm fortunate enough to have been able to acquire the Vandenborre Bacchus Tarot, printed in Belgium, and I'm very excited about this. So I'm opening it up for the first time to check it out. Notice how old the outer wrap is. It's a bit tattered, but the inside deck is fully intact with the gold thing to tear it with, and a booklet. And trying to do this with one hand is actually a bit yellowed. It's been sitting around on a shelf for so long. So it appears as though this copyright date is 1983. So that's a long time to have sat on a shelf. So I'm thrilled to have it in pristine condition. It's fabulous. So give me a minute to unwrap it and we'll check it out. Okay, so let's check out the major arcana. They were not in any particular order. They were very, despite being a sealed deck, they were in crazy kind of order. So I had to take the time to put them in order to make sure I had all the cards. It starts with the Bachelor. And the High Priestess is, or the Popess rather, is replaced by the Spanish Captain. The Empress, and the Emperor, and then Bacchus in place of the High Priest or the Pope. And then we have the usual cast of characters. Afterwards, we have the Lover, Chariot, Justice, the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, Fortitude, the Hanged One, or the Hanged Man, and here he's upside down, but clearly it's intended to be read this way. Death, Temperance, the Devil, Thunder, or the House of God, or the House of the Devil, or the Tower. The Star. So we see some characteristics with the VV would be, I think the VV is earlier than this, of course. This is about 100 years later than the VV. But they have a lot of similarities. The Moon, the Sun, Judgment, and the World. And then curiously, the Fool is given a number in this deck, and it's given the number 22. So this one is actually numbered. And then, of course, we have the minor arcana cards. Ace of Batons, the Two of Batons. And I want to mention, too, that the back has a slick, kind of almost waxy finish. And then the front is a nice matte. So it's kind of, if you're, into the sensory stuff, it's kind of nice. I find it satisfying. 3 of batons. And you notice for, let's see, starting with the 3, we have a 3 in the center diamond shape. 4, 5. I mean, you don't really need numbers for the suits, but I guess it's handy, right? You don't really need numbers for any of them. The Italians were right. You don't really need numbers. I mean, if you know what the cards are and what their order is. But I guess it makes it handy because after all, it was a deck for playing. So I guess it makes it a lot easier when you're trying to just play a game. So you have your page, your knight, queen, and then the king. And then we move on to the cups. Ace of Cups, the 2 of Cups, and then curiously with the 3, there's no number 3 anywhere. I don't see it. 4. That's kind of pretty. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. And then we have the valet or the page, the knight, the queen, and king. Okay, so moving along, we have the coins, the ace of coins, 2, which shows the name Vandenborre. And again with the 3, now we do not have a number 3 on the 3 here. So the coins, we don't have any number. 4, 5. So it's kind of curious so far. It's only been on the batons. 6, 7, 8, 9, and on the 10, my eagle eye spotted a dent. But there's no recourse for me because this deck has been sitting on a shelf and sealed since 1983. So who am I going to, and I think it's out of print, so who am I going to call, right? And it's clear through to the back. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it right there, right? Right there. So, but that's, I don't know. Then this one on the bottom, there's a little mark on the bottom too. But I didn't do it, folks. It came that way. I guess it was just from the printer. 10, okay, the valet or the page. Knight, queen, and then the king. And then the final suit, the Ace of Swords. Ooh, look at that. I guess that's an ibis, some kind of bird. 2. And the 3 does not have any number. Oh, yes, it does. I stand corrected. There it is. So the The batons and the swords both have numbers. 4, 5. I guess they're considered the more difficult to figure out what the numbers are. Where's the 5 here? Huh. So they bothered to number the up until 4, and then 5 is you're on your own. But clearly, you know, if there's a center, if you know if there's a center wand or a center sword, you know it's an odd number. So and we're at 6, 7, and then they put an 8 in 8. 9, 10, page or valet, 9, the knight, queen, and king. So it's a gorgeous deck with, you know, its own little peculiarities, you know, of the Spanish captain and the Bacchus in place of the Popes and, not the Popes, yes, the Popes and the Pope. And the Fool is 22. I don't usually consider him to have any number, but so that's a difference. And the cards are gorgeous, and they have a great sensory feel. You know, if you're a person who likes, you know, kinesthetics, right? It's pleasurable to handle. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. This is Marilyn from TarotClarity.com, and that's that.